Good morning, sir, and hello, everyone. Welcome to our Know Your Alumni series. Today, we have among us an esteemed alumni of our college, Mr. Bhavani Prasad Dwivedy. Sir is an alumnus of the class of 2014 Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, with majors in marketing and systems and minor in operations management, and has a rich industry experience of more than 7 years across domains. He is a procurement and supply chain professional with experience in e-commerce and manufacturing sector. He has worked in Tata Steel for 6 years and is currently working with Amazon as a senior procurement manager. It is an absolute honor to have you among us, sir.
Hey, hi, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Amrita. Thanks a lot. Hi everyone. Thanks a lot for the invite. And thanks a lot, Haben, for connecting me with me. I mean, it has been actually quite some time since I have been to our college and I've actually interacted with anyone. So thanks a lot for the session.
So, moving on to the questions. Sir, how has been your journey post XIMB till date? And how different is life as an MBA student from a management professional?
So it has been almost 10 years since I gave my first attempt at CAT and SAT. At that point of time, back in 2010 or 11, I used to think that the process of preparing for an exam, getting through it, finishing the course studies, then sitting for placements and getting through an organization is basically an arduous task which takes you 4 to 5 years. But then again, what actually seems to be the result of this process basically places you at the bottom of another mountain, which in turn is much more difficult to climb. For me, the post MBA journey has been considerably smoother than most people. So, I worked with Tata Power before my MBA, and I was basically working over there initially as an electrical engineer, and post that I moved into a planning commissioning role, which was basically an ops role of power plants. So naturally, I developed an inclination towards ops management. So while in my first year, it gave me a boost while preparing for the SIPs. I landed up with an internship with Tata Steel as in the supply chain management role, which I managed to convert into a PPO. So post that the second year was basically smooth. Once you have a PPO, you know how things are. So after that, I joined Tata Steel. Initially, there were like 2 months of induction. Post that, actually, then started the uphill task. So I was placed as a procurement manager in Tata Steel Kalinganagar. It was basically a greenfield project. If you know what a greenfield project is, it is basically right from scratch you have to build something. So there will be no facilities. It will be just a plain stretch of land where you have to go and set up a facility. It is not every day that a recent graduate gets a chance to work on procuring materials and services for a steel plant. Just being started. So, at my first go, I had to study steel making since it was the primary domain where I was supposed to work. So, one of my key learnings over there was, you might have, gone through, a couple of subjects during your MBA. But then again, if you join any ops domain, the first thing is that you need to understand how the business looks like. So I had to understand the basics of metallurgy since I had to procure materials and services related to those. Then I had to work on combining ops management, inventory management, scheduling. A few project management concepts as well to fix up a procurement strategy for the ramp up of the new plant. So another point that I observed over here was that while you are at college, the deadlines they basically affect grades. So here they affect the financial performance of an organization. So you miss deadlines in your college, you get grade cuts, but over here it translates into potential losses of millions. Basically, the deadlines were quite important while starting up the street plant because the impact was somewhat like 1 million per day or so. So along with my team, we were a very small team who was stationed over there. I think it was a team of six or so. So along with that, along with my team, I procured the opening day requirements of Tata Steel Kalinganagar. It was basically quite new since it was happening after 100 years or so at Tata Steel that a new steel plant was being set up. So it left an everlasting mark on my career. During my stint with Tata Steel, I worked quite closely with BCG and McKinsey to devise optimization strategies, design liquidation models in case any raw material doesn't get used, devise IT solutions to automate manual work and bring about savings every year, whether tangible or intangible. One of the biggest challenges in ops management sector is that you are asked to bring about savings over last year expenditure, even though the commodity prices are going up.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insight. My next question would be, so you had a very long association with Tata Steel over all these years since your graduation and carried over to MBA. Kindly share your experience and key learnings to this journey. So, am I audible?
Hello, yeah, I think there was
Uh,
a network interruption.
sure,
I
sure,
think
sir.
so. Can you just tell me wherein I dropped off so that I can continue from over there?
Yes, sir. So I was just telling you the question. After that, like you want audible, sir. I'll just repeat the question, sir.
Yeah,
So I was asking, you had a very long association with Tata over all these years since graduation and carried over to MBA. Kindly share your experience and key learnings to this journey.
yeah. See, Tata Power and Tata Steel, those are like some of the oldest organizations of our country, right? So, like Tata Power, I think it is even older than Tata Steel, and they were one of the pioneers of bringing about hydroelectricity in India. I mean, they had the first plant in a place called Khopoli. Yeah, so basically, there are two types of organizations you are going to see. I mean, down there. So they are traditionally organized on two lines, either to make money for their shareholders or in idealized socialized theory to deliver services for sections in the community. So Tata Group is basically a hybrid of the two models, with I mean with the later one taking the bulk of the focus. My professional experiences with Tata Power and Steel were quite enriching both professionally and personally. I worked mostly on new projects and their ramp-up phases, which are not your conventional workplaces. So the work environments they basically represent startups with strict deadlines, crunch of funds, and continuous follow-ups from I mean the senior management. But one thing I realized was rather than the focus being completion of the projects by Hokuto, focus was on increasing efficiency and following an ethical attitude and approach towards wrapping up a project. The systems and processes were quite well defined since these are very old companies, so they made our experiences smoother. But then again, down the line, at some point of time, as most of the working population was an aging population over there, so the tech adaptability became an issue. But then again, our senior management they realized that okay, they are going to face this challenge. So in 2018, I mean, the Tata Group basically went up for a for a complete overall when it comes to the tech capabilities. So special initiatives were taken in 2018 to bring the tech implementation to the level of best operations out there. So right now, as I speak, if I'm not wrong, some special initiatives are being taken to bring about shared services, bringing about, I mean, developing in-house solutions rather than outsourcing them. So, I mean, overall, it was a very nice experience. Not everybody gets a chance to work with them. I mean, I got that opportunity, and I'm really thankful for the fact that I got an opportunity to work for them. It was really enriching for me.
Thank you, sir. So moving on to the next question. Currently, you're working with Amazon. How has been your journey in this company? And please share your experience and insights regarding your role as a senior procurement manager.
Yeah. So Amazon has been a quite pleasant change from Tata Steel. I always wanted to pursue a career in supply chain management, and Amazon is one of the best places to execute the same. So, first of all, what I would say over here is that I mean, here the focus is on innovation. I mean, we are always being constantly reminded that it is always day one, wherein innovation is the prime segment of focus. Instead of following set processes and SOPs, here you are supposed to identify problems, potential problems, and set up tech-enabled, scalable mechanisms, which will basically make a difference in how we solve it. I was encouraged to learn programming languages over here, bring about automation in what we do, and set up systems which will do the work instead of individuals. One key insight that I got from over here was customer obsession clubbed with agility and innovation will basically take you a long way ahead. Another insight that I have got from my 1.5 year stint with Amazon is that you have to be quite updated and familiar with the tech solutions out there. Even if you are not from a tech background, you should try to keep up with the key changes in tech, which keep on happening on a continuous basis. Because ultimately, I mean, wherever you go, the type of tech you are using, the type of agile technologies you are using, those are going to make all the difference. So that's it from my end. So it has been quite a nice run for the past 1.5 years, and I just hope that I keep on learning more and more about tech. I mean, till the time I'm with hands-on.
Thank you so much, sir. So, moving on. XIMB is known to have a very vibrant culture. How did the learnings from XIMB contribute in your career?
Yeah, so XMP was quite instrumental in teaching me a couple of things. One of the most, I mean, important and foremost things which I learned was to handle pressure and think out of the box when faced with crisis. So, as I have said earlier, adhering to deadlines, prioritizing work, and having fun at the same time will definitely contribute to, I mean, an all-round development in your personality. While at XIP with a number of committees to be a part of, you'll be busy juggling your responsibilities as parts of committees. I mean, you've got core committees and KM committees when it comes to expressions, and then you had other committees as well. So you have to keep on juggling your responsibilities as the part of committees. Then you've got academics, case study competitions, group projects, and spending time with peers. So this will teach you basics of multitasking. In short, you will learn the theoretical knowledge which is essential for you, but at the same time, you shall be acquiring the soft skills which, in my opinion, are more important for your professional development. So, XMP was definitely one of the key contributors. Basically, it gave me a shortcut from being, I mean, basically an engineer and transition into a manager.
Right, sir. Thank you so much.
Hey, Namrata, just a second. I'm just getting an urgent call. Can you just give me 5 minutes or so? I will join the meeting.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Not an issue.
Okay, just give me 5 minutes.
Namrata, you can edit this part from the recording then.
Yes, even the first interruption, I did it.
Hey, hi Namrata. Sorry for the interruption from my end.
Not
Please
at all,
continue.
sir, not at all. Uh, Sir, continuing.
Yeah.
So, supply chain is the industry which has undergone a lot of changes due to the pandemic. How would you advise the students interested to pursue a career in this domain to prepare themselves?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question. So first of all, with the COVID-19 crisis, so what changed fundamentally was the consumer behavior, the essential contribution of the supply chain, and the routes to market which are knocking companies off balance. So you must have seen that certain new businesses were basically forced to shut down during this pandemic. So COVID-19 is not a typical risk event. So the scale of its impact, it basically eclipses anything which most supply chain leaders will have seen before. So the speed of escalation, it requires continuous end-to-end assessment, optimization, and monitoring. So the companies, they basically need to respond rapidly and confidently to execute a short-term tactical plan, which will basically mitigate the risks to human health and protect the functioning of the supply chain at the same time. So while doing so, what I feel is strong data and analytics capabilities are crucial in understanding and anticipating the potential disruption of supply chains. So my first advice to people would be, I mean, wherever you are seeing that, I mean, see, basically nobody had predicted that we would be faced with this kind of an outcome or this kind of situation. So first of all, people need to be highly analytical when they are facing any kind of potential disruption, and they need to be able to forecast what kind of disruptions are going to happen in the future. So in this case, what I would suggest is, so people should be quite abreast with the consumer behavior activities and consumer behavior trends which are developing due to this disruption. The next thing is that businesses should be able to navigate the financial and operational challenges of COVID while addressing the needs of their people, customers, and suppliers. So, I mean, it is like, I mean, there is this is basically quite a vicious cycle. So, for example, you have to mobilize the response plan, then you have to sense and prioritize the new risks and implications to your supply chain components. Then you have to analyze what if scenarios and protocols for, I mean, with your supply chain modifications. Uh, and this analysis part has to be underpinned by a digital and analytics backbone. Then you have to configure and tailor the entire network and product flows to execute the protocols. You have to develop a scorecard for whatever suppliers you have got. So it is not a short-term crisis. Basically, nobody can be exactly prepared for what we are going to face. We have currently been through two peaks, and if I'm not wrong, we are currently going to face the third peak as well. So this basically requires a holistic approach to manage the entire supply chain. So sufficient flexibility has to be built in by people in their own capabilities to protect themselves against future disruptions. So people should be inclined towards developing frameworks rather than short-term tactics and capabilities, which will probably take care of the problems. So what I would say is just keep an open mind, just plan for the worst, just see how the demands are dropping and I mean where the demands are surging by segments. Just plan your inventory management tactics accordingly, and just see how you can scale up. I mean your productive activities in within a very short span of time. So can't say much to people who are going to join this industry right away because this is something that we have not seen in the past. Yeah, so that's it for this question.
Thank you so much, sir. So, moving on, you have been part of International Relations Committee and also the Quizzing Committee in XIMB. Also, as you already mentioned, academic pressure, case studies, and life projects make balancing life very difficult here. How would you suggest, like, how to balance all of these together?
What I can suggest as of now is, I mean, obviously, these are certain activities which will teach you multitasking, right? Or at least the basics of multitasking. So the transit from, the from the campus culture to the corporate culture. These activities actually contributed a lot. So, for example, I was into quizzing when I was in my graduate days, during my BTech days. So, quizzing was I was always a part of the quizzing committee during my college days. So that's why I already made up my mind that okay, fine, wherever I go, I will be a part of this. Then International Relations Committee, actually also contributed a lot to my thinking. Uh, Basically, it will expose you to different people who come from different parts of the world, what are the different approaches that they take, and basically, and how to have a time off at the time of crisis. Right? See, you will be constantly faced with a lot of pressure. While working and while studying. It's just a second, Amrita. I'm just getting another call. Just give me 2 minutes. Sorry, this kind of interruptions keep on happening. Just give
No,
me two
sure.
minutes.
It's absolutely fine, sir.
Hey, hi, Amrita. I'm back.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. So, what I would say is that there are loads and loads of things to do out there, but then again you have to prioritize and see how you can squeeze in certain things at certain points of time. It's not possible for everybody to take up everything. So, like there were a couple of things that I wanted to do during my MBA days, but was unable to find time for those. For example, I was not. I could not delve into the case study competitions, different hackathons which were taking place at different points of time. So you have to compromise at some point of time while you are at college. So, but then again, yes, being a part of different committees, balancing out academics, academics, then sports, and different activities, those will take a lot of commitment from somebody's end. And at the same time, you should not stop having fun at the cost of these activities. So, yeah, it taught me multitasking, and I was happy that I was able to carry these forward to my professional life.
Thank you so much, sir. So, the current batches are all set to venture into this industry. We would love them to hear your parting words of wisdom.
See, the first advice from my end would be that don't stop learning. The school years will end, but there will always be more opportunities to grow and learn. So basically, keep an open mind and be willing to learn from those you encounter. So there might be your bosses, might be co-workers, might be mentors, or might be subordinates. So there is something to learn from each and every person. So and there is no wrong. The second point is that see everyone's path is different. There is no wrong way or right way to start your corporate life. So some graduates may score full-time jobs with higher packages. Some people will go ahead and pursue an academic, profession. So some people might even take some time off before finding a job. So everyone's journey is different. Don't extrapolate anybody else's success, and don't think that you can replicate the same. And it is actually not wise to do that. So my third point would be invest in your relationships. So after college, friendships and relationships are going to change. Everyone is going separate ways. They are not going to live right next door anymore. You won't be living in a hostel. See, you have to give an additional amount of effort to make these relationships work. Okay, and it is important to catch up with friends and let off some steam before you go back to work. Please plan weekend getaways, lunch dates, anything to keep in touch with your friends. Make yourselves a top priority. Make sure that you do whatever is best for yourselves and not for anyone else. Obviously, you have to think about your family and all. But then again, remember that you always have to maintain a balance. If you compromise on your family life and focus on your career, it might come back to bite you back. Take time to stop. Once you get into corporate life, you're going to face help. So, as you're graduating, it is a special time. Take some time to soak it all in. Okay, so feel the joy when you are accomplishing something. Also, try to accept the losses and sadness that may come. So, whatever emotions you are faced with, please embrace all of them and be proud of yourselves because you are not going to have a time like this. Okay, so I think this will be my words for the outgoing batch, and yeah, that's it from my end.
Thank you so much, sir. It is an amazing experience to hear you and your words. Thank you so much for joining with us today.
Thanks a lot, Namrata. Thanks a lot to Alcom for inviting me for this session. It was really nice interacting with all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Shane. Logging off.